All right, welcome back, guys. This is Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Thanks for popping in today on this video, and to kind of I guess bone up and refamiliarize yourself with what you can find in your change today. So we're gonna jump in and take a look at some of the most notable varieties that you could find on the statehood quarter series, because obviously those things are all over the place. Probably pretty well circulated at this point, but you never know what you're going to come across. There might even be a Gemmy still out there. There is still plenty of nice coins. But we're also going to take a quick look at the Washington, D.C. and U.S. territory quarters as well. So this is going to be a rather comprehensive, quick guide at the biggest varieties. Now, the reason why I threw in that quote-unquote biggest word in there is that these particular coins are attributed with FS numbers, Favaz-Stanton numbers, and these are going to be the bigger coins that collectors are going to be looking for, that they're going to be shelling out a lot more money for. So make sure you keep an eye out for this. But I am going to say this: it is by no means the only varieties that you could find within the statehood quarter series and the territory quarter series. If you can't find a specific variety that maybe you found, it would probably more than likely be on like VarietyVista.com or DoubleTheDie.com. All right, that's the Wexler and Dr. James Wiles websites. All right, and they're both some of the main attributors of modern coins, among others. So I figure the best website to use is PCGS. The big reason why I like using PCGS for showing you guys the mainline varieties within the coin series is that if they're on the PCGS website, they're attributable by the grader. All right, that's how you know that they're important as far as a find. So we're in the Washington 50 States Quarters price guide. So you always go to the price guide. That's probably the easiest way to access these. And then when you scroll down, unfortunately, I inadvertently cut off the screen here, but you're going to see all the PCGS numbers right here in blue, and they're all hyperlinks. All right, but notate the date and the state that you're looking for. So the ones that you want to search for are all going to have a plus symbol next to the PCGS number. In the statehood quarter series, the first one that we do come across by no mistake is going to be the Wisconsin low leaf and the Wisconsin high leaf. Now take a quick moment to take a look at the pricing. These two particular coins, I've noticed, have gone up in value recently, and this is even saying the same for uncertified raw examples, which typically the ones I've seen sell on eBay and the secondary market in general have all been pretty well circulated, but they're still able to achieve really good amounts of money. As a matter of fact, the prices and values for each of these variants I've very rarely seen dip under $75, $80, even in some of the worst conditions. The two coins here highlighted are on Denver minted Wisconsin quarters. They were originally drop zoned in the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas region. As a matter of fact, to the day, people are still finding these by coin roll hunting and just general searching through change and batches thereof for these two particular varieties. And if you were to look on eBay for a search of all of the realized sales of both the low leaf and high leaf varieties, you're going to find that probably 80% of the sellers are all coming from this region, the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas region. All right, quick little recap of what the low leaf looks like. I believe there's also a comparison guide on here. And there sure is. All right, so you'll get an idea of what like a top line grade is. This is a mid-state 67 example that was true viewed and placed onto PCGS's website. If you scroll down a little bit further, you'll get to see all of the grade ranges respective values. Okay, these are approximate values for graded coins, but also note the population counts of the coins that are graded in these particular numerical grades. So in 64, there was 2,066 graded. But if we go all the way to the top here, whoops, if we go all the way to the edge here at where mint state 67 is, you're going to see that only 4 examples exist in that grade, and they have a value of $5,500. As a matter of fact, this price has gone up 10% within the last 30 days. That's what the up arrow designates. But you'll see that the coin is incredibly valuable, even still to this day. 18 years after it was released, hard to believe it's been 18 years since this quarter was sent into circulation. And this coin was all the buzz right here. So if we take a look at the difference between the two, this is the low leaf variety. You'll see this little black arrow right here. So on a regular 2004D Wisconsin quarter, there are not supposed to be these engraving lines that make up the extra leads. It's been speculated that these were intentionally added to the working die, and I firmly believe that to this day that is the case. These were not by mistake, like a tool was dropped onto the die that created this. I'm just not believing that. And then here's the high leaf here, which is just this extra curved line here. Again, on regular 2004D Wisconsin quarters, you're not going to see either of those engraving lines that make up the low leaf and the high leaf. These things have been around for quite a while. To this day, we've seen a 10 to 20% increase in the sold prices of both of these varieties. The Wisconsin high leaf has a little bit more value compared to the low leaf, and they're a little bit more scarcer to find. All right, so that's the Wisconsin high and low leaf quarters. Okay, always good one to look out for. And another one that is quite minor in a way is going to be the extra tree Minnesota's, and they only show up on the 2005 Philadelphia minted examples. All right, if you look over here on the price table, you're going to find that there's a little bit of value, but really a lot of the value is drummed up within the mint state grades. If you have well circulated examples, you might be able to get a few dollars for them. But what people want out of this, because there's a myriad of different extra tree varieties, is that they want the higher grade mint state examples like you see here, like 65, 66, and so on. If we take a look at this one here, this one is going to show, this one is rather minor, but we're going to use the close-up tool here and see if we can spot it. They're not the easiest things to look out for. Usually it'll be right in here somewhere. I don't see it on this one. But the extra tree is just going to look like an extra separated tree in the background. Yeah, that's how minor these things are, is that they're just hard to look for. I couldn't find it on here. And that's a scratch right there, by the way, in the fields. Yeah, it's going to be like somewhere in the middle of the coin, because these are all classified as Class 9 doubling. So, yeah, pretty crazy. I'm not seeing it on this one. I'm sure it's there somewhere, and it's very minor. This is a very minor error, but people still love looking for these. And again, the grading really only counts when they're mid-state. The lower graded examples, because there's so many different varieties of the extra tree, kind of like the extra thumb. Lincoln Cent of 2009, the formative years, how there's dozens, just scores of different variants of that extra thumb. Same with the extra tree. All right, so let's see if we can find another one here. The Wyoming is another interesting one. So you got two double-to-die reverses, FS801, FS803. Now, I don't know where 802 is in all of this, but this one actually has a little bit of value. Again, much more meaningful in the higher grades. The FS801, we'll take a look at that right now. This is going to be like an extra doubled area right there on this, right where that little thing sticks up right there. There's generally an extra doubled feature in that area right there. Let's see if we can see it here. I can't really see it. Again, this one right here is right in the middle of the reverse right there. So you can see that extra little thing flip down there. It looks doubled. And that's what you're going to focus on. So that's the 801. And check out the 803. I think this one's a little bit better. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but these there you go. So you see the extra line, the inner curl line right there? Right above the horse's kind of like mane area going into the cowboy's hand. There's an extra line right there, and that's the FS 803. This one's a lot easier to see compared to the previous one, where it has kind of like that doubled kind of bill appearance to it. So if we went back to this one, you'll see the doubled extra kind of like bill that comes out there. So right where the rancher's hand is, you're going to see the two things sticking out there. All right, so that's the 801 and 803. Again, these have actually pretty decent value, and they can only be found on Philadelphia minted Wyoming quarters. Look at that. They could reach a few $100s, the 801 especially. And believe it or not, these are coins that you can still find out there today. And very few people are actually paying attention to these, which is pretty insane. And, it's leaving a lot out on the table for that. That might be it for the Statehood Quarter series. Again, it's a very underrated, undersearched series for varieties. I think that there are a lot more nicer varieties that you can't find within the Statehood Quarter series. That certainly warrants an extra look. But outside of varieties, okay, the other big kind of moneymaker within the series is going to be registry set searching, and that's finding coins that grade out like Mid-State 68. These are actually quite hot in the marketplace, and people have paid upwards of like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for some of these particular states in Mid-State 68. Like this one right here, North Dakota, Denver, 3,468. Here's some 69s here. Minnesota is $4,000. Texas, look at that, $10,000 for a Mid-State 69. There's probably a Pop 1 there. But you get the big idea. There's a lot of money tied up in just the registry set grades of this. But by no means should it be like the only thing you should focus on, because these are next to impossible to find. This makes up a very itsy bitsy tiny fraction of the entire run of Statehood Quarters, and these are more lottery finds than anything else. But definitely keep an eye out for the varieties within the Statehood Quarter series. Check out VarietyVista.com and also Double the Die. You're going to find that there's a lot more to look for outside of the 4 or 5 that I showed you here just in this program. All right, so U.S. territory in Washington, D.C. There is a huge one that's constantly being talked about, and that's the Washington, D.C. There's actually varieties for both the P and D minted coins. So if we hit the little plus, on the Philadelphias, there's 2 DDRs, an 801 and an 802. We're going to look at those both respectively. And then the big one is the Denver minted DDR FS 801. This is the one that you want to look out for. The Washington DC quarters, I remember it from like it was yesterday, because people were kind of like growing tired of the series in general after 2008. The moment that they heard that they were going to do what they call an extension and do Washington DC and U.S. territories, people were just burnt out and they just kind of forgot about these quarters, which was kind of like the perfect storm, because these 2009 represented a very low mintage year of coinage. I mean, just look at the Jefferson nickel. That's kind of like the modern key date of coinage. It was that 2009 nickel with a much lower mintage compared to all the other dates around it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the FS 801 double to die reverse of the Philadelphia coin here. And this one's particularly neat. Again, your main devices to look is going to be centralized right in the middle. You're going to see an extra piano key, a black piano key between black key number 1 and number 2, right there under the word E. So I hope you guys can see that extra piano key that's doubled on there. All right, so that's 801. That's always a fantastic example. 802 is very similar. This one also has the doubled black piano key. That is pretty much in the same area. This one, however, is a little bit further south in between the actual key 1, key 2 area, right there under the E. So you can see the doubled key. Again, the Philadelphia varieties of Washington, D.C. quarters are undersearched right now, but good luck trying to find these quarters. There's just not a lot of them out there that you can easily access in high grades, and that kind of like complicates the actual search a little bit more, to where it is increasingly difficult to find these in like full roll form, to find them in mid sets. I don't even think you could find any of these varieties in mid sets, by the way. Just throwing that out there. They haven't been, I guess, checked out with any great kind of effectiveness to where we could say, without a shadow of a doubt, you cannot find these in mid sets. So, and another thing to keep in mind, the mid sets of 2009 were all satin strikes. So you're definitely not going to find this one. They were produced by completely different dyes. So this one right here, the 801 and 802 on the Philadelphia, Washington D.C.'s are absolutely amazing. And if you're not at least flipping your coin over to look at these coins, you're really not doing yourself a favor. And then finally, we're going to leave it off on the big one here, and that's the 2009 Denver. The Denver coins got a lot of love within the Statehood Quarter series between the extra low leaf and high leaf, and then now the District of Columbia. There's a lot to look out for as far as valuable coins. So let's take a look at the FS 801. Again, these are struck from the Denver Mint. And get a load of this. All right, see the doubled ELL in Ellington, along with some piano keys, like black piano key number 2 is doubled south there. So there was a nice rotation here. Wow, this thing is incredible. This is a coin in raw condition I've seen sell for $1,000, $1,500. I've seen a few people give these things away, for like $500. I'm like scratching my head, like why? And they're in relatively decent shape too. But this is an absolutely amazing coin that you need to look out for because it's going to pay huge dividends. It is currently one of the top 100 most actively pursued modern, ultra-modern varieties going for right now. It might even be a top 10. It's that important. And given that it's part of the, or an extension of the Statehood Quarter series, which is an important series all on its own, has made this one a chase-worthy example here. So that one, I believe, was the final quarter to look at that is most notable within the Statehood Quarter series, and of course the U.S. territories as well. Again, there's more registry set love here. Kind of hard to find some of the like Puerto Rico and Guam. There are no known mid-state 68s as far as I could tell, and also DC. Just overall a very, very tough trio of dates for those much higher graded coins for registry sets. I can imagine these are all like maybe $3,000-$4,000 once the first one gets found. It's just the quality of these coins at this point, not too fantastic, and that kind of adds to the chase, to the allure of the series. I know we're 13 years removed from this program, and boy, it had a lot of ups. I had lots of downs too. But overall, it was a very landmark type of release that people are still to this day enjoying. You know, you go to a bookstore, you go online, you go to maybe a consignment shop on certain occasions, you're going to see a lot of these folders designed specifically for Statehood Quarter series of coins. They even have the world maps, the ones that you can fill up and then hang on your wall. This particular series is still heavily promoted 13 years later, and it's not going to change. All right, this has put coin collecting back on the map. More people came into the hobby when the Mint decided to do this program way back in 1999, and you know, it's going to live on as being in a very important series to numismatics. It's going to continue to do that even to this day. If not for nothing, get into the series and try and find mint state examples out of circulation and put together some of these albums and world maps. You're going to find that just doing that is going to provide a whole bunch of challenge in itself, because again, these coins are pretty well circulated at this point. The only way that you're going to find much newer coins, and by the way, people are injecting these into the circulation stream, is that people are actually breaking up rolls from back in the day. They're breaking up sets. They just don't want to deal with it. Maybe they brought it to a coin shop and they said, well, it's only worth face value. What do you want to do with it? Oh, I'll keep it and just deposit it into the bank myself. You know, they'll do stuff like that. And that's how the newer mint state examples are coming back out into circulation for you guys to look for and then ultimately add to your album. You know, again, try to temper the expectation of grading these and thinking that you're going to come out ahead by getting that 68. It's much more difficult than realized. But that's why I wanted to talk about in this one. What a great series. Loads of fun to collect into. Even though it's an ultra-modern series, little mini-series. But you can also see there's a lot of varieties to also be on the lookout for. That's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. As always, Coinholics, we are collecting together and discovering together as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And also, I am on TikTok at Blue Ridge Silverhound. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.